In this video, we'll look at good templates versus bad templates because there's so many available online, but the bad ones will give you such a bad time and it will be such a pain to work with and to customize and create slides. So to do a fair comparison, I'll be comparing a template that I find online, comparing it to one of my own templates, and then we'll compare them on 3 levels. First of all, customization. How easy is it to customize to your own brand? Secondly, we'll look at how user-friendly is it? How can you make slides with it? How user-friendly is it on a day-to-day basis? And third, we'll be looking at how AI can actually work with that template, because that's becoming more important. By the way, if you want to access that template that I've made, I'll link it in the description below. You can download it there. I also have a bundle deal available that gives you access to all of my templates and packs. So if you want to build your own, customize or upgrade your own template, that is a perfect pack for it. Okay, so first let's start with that customization. So let's say we go to View, Slide Master, and I want to change that color to something else. So I'm going to customize the color here, and I'm going to change that to maybe a different type of green, a little bit lighter, just like that. So it's our full own customization. I'm going to press OK and then save this here, close it, and we see everything nicely changed to that color. So that is already a pretty good sign. Then we go to View. We go to Slide Master, Fonts, and I'm going to take a pair that I've created myself, for example, Vega and Railway, and then close it. And also here, if we go into the deck, we can see that the fonts are adapting. So also that, very good that it's been taken into place. Few things that I see, there's multiple header fonts that might give some confusion, but overall, this is nice. So you see how fast that can change. Now let's compare that to the other one here. So same thing here. Let's say we go to View, Slide Master, and we change that color, customize color, change that accent color to the bright green here. And then we also have a second accent color. So if you want, it gives a little bit more flexibility maybe. We can go for a lighter version. And since I'm working with that dark background, that dark style, I'm also going to change this. So here I've chosen for a dark blue, but we can just customize it to, for example, have a darker green tone. So that will give us that darker accent color in our slide. So we can see we can have that dark and light variant here with our accent colors. Same goes for the customization of the fonts. Same here, go to Vega, and we see everything nicely changes, and we have that throughout the entire slide deck. We have the correct font pairing. So looking at that customization, that already went pretty good. Now let's look at number 2, which is the user friendliness, because we want to build slides, we want to update our slides, and really want to work in a very efficient way. So for that, we have to look at the layouts. So I'm going to check the layouts, and this is a little bit of a first, not a little bit, this is a big red flag on first glance, because we don't have, if I add a new layout, you see the title slide is entirely blank. So there is no text boxes, there is no indication of anything going in a specific place. It's only a collection of image placeholders. So if I add an image, that is the only thing I can do here. So for the rest, I can't add anything. This is already a big red flag, because if you want to create an agenda slide, you have to first of all look for that layout that will match. And if I want to have a simple list, so for example, no boxes, but I just want to have a simple list, this is going to become quite a mess. You can already see some things already changed and are overlapping. We'll look into that in a second. So let's say I want to create just a simple list like this, today's agenda, and I do point number 1, point number 2, point number 3, and then point number 4. This works perfect for 4 points. Now let's say we want to add a 5th one. Well, we have to copy that box, get rid of the elements, position them in a different way. And if I want to change the order, you see the mess is starting to add up a little bit here, especially if you want to scale that to quite a lot of different numbers. If you want to reposition it, you have to sort of start to create all of these constructions. That is not something which is ideal, I would say. Now let's compare that here to the other template that you have. If we want to have a new slide, you can see this has preset layouts, which means if we want to have an agenda, simple agenda, and there's multiple ones, today's agenda points, and we start to add your content here. I'm going to just copy those. So you see instantly they start to shift automatically. I can add something in between. This makes it pretty user-friendly. If I have longer ones, shorter ones, it will automatically adapt and adjust. And that is already pretty important. Now that doesn't mean we have to stick to this layout. We can always go for a different layout if we want to have maybe more room on the slides. If we want to maybe go for a different version of the layout, well, a light version, we can always do that. Same as if we want to add lots of points. Well, we can just change it to 2 columns, for example, and we're off. And whatever we add in the next part, it doesn't really matter. We can still start to create our slides. Change the layout, go for a darker version, and boom, we keep that flexibility. We maintain the flexibility. So that is why we are using slide layouts and the components. And if they're missing, that will give you quite a bit of a headache. Same with the title slide. Just add a new slide, title slide. This is our presentation title. And I'm going to do some lorem ipsum for the subheader. Let's make it a little bit shorter. That's more realistic. Let's say we have this and we want to do the same. We'll do the same in the other template. If you want to change the layout to something with an image, well, you can always just add that image. So let's go to icons and let's see if we find a nice image that we want to add. So I just added here and you see it goes automatically into the placeholder, which means if I ever change it and also get suggestions on the right, we'll look at that in a second. If I change anything, it will automatically shift. So it doesn't matter which style we take, it will automatically adapt. Now let's move back to this version here. So if I say, yeah, the title slide, we know that is completely blank, which means we can't do anything with it. We have to start adding our own text boxes, but this takes away from that, yeah, header flexibility that we have. So definitely not ideal. If we want to do this, today's presentation title goes here. We can already see it happening. I'll put it on a different side. We have to start readjusting the boxes, the title, the font size to make it look nice. If we want to add an image here, go to icons and we add our same image here to the slide. It will be added as an extra layer and doesn't get any placeholder where it belongs. So that means you would have to sort of get it right, start sending it to the back and doing all of that manual effort. Same thing here, if you ever want to change to a different layout, yeah, that is not going to make any sense. So either it's going to snap to one of those components, but then again, you have to rearrange all of those things. So that's a bit the messy part that you get if you don't have any slide layouts. And that is going to scale, especially if you start to make more slides, if you start to make larger decks or work together with teams. We don't want to do all that manual dragging and positioning. We want to have a clean structure, work the way PowerPoint has intended it. And that sort of brings us to the third point, because it builds up from there. And that is how we can use AI and how we can leverage the strength from AI. Because AI uses that same underlying logic, well, we have to use it as well if we want to, have PowerPoint work for us. So let's see how the design suggestions already respond and how we can generate maybe a sliding copilot, how that will react in both templates. Okay, so let's start from this first generation, that slide that we have made. And we go to the design suggestions tab here on the right. And let's see if it generates something. So we can already see that the slide is generating different versions that we can use. So we can choose between different title slides. We can choose between different options that it proposes. And the same goes if we create, for example, a new slide. So let's take one of the, I'll put it on full screen. Let's take one of the more complex ones. And we have, for example, let's say we have some cards and an image. And I put some content in here. Dolores headline goes here. And I'm just going to copy that in the different boxes so that we have a little bit of text that is realistic. And then we also have that image. There we go. So this is our text. Now let's see what the design suggestions come up with and what we can actually get out of it. So you see on the right side, it is already giving us some proposals. If we want to split this up with multiple images, that is definitely possible. If we want to keep it on one side, the different side, it gives us all these alternatives. Want to add an extra one? Want to add like a 6-pointer? All of these different options are available. And you see how that goes. So I can just copy the slide, and it's within literally seconds that I have created different variations here. So I just click and instantly the entire thing changes, which for me is super useful if you know how to use that template, how to leverage it. So that is the power of really using that template. If you go into the demo slides and we have a look at, for example, the more custom ones or the more detailed ones with some numbers or some charts, Also here, it knows exactly how to respond with that. So it knows exactly what you could want. If you have different layouts with an image, it can suggest if you want some with an image, some without an image, and it will give you some nice proposals. Now let's compare that to one of the other slides with, from the other version here. So let me create that, and I'm going to add some content. So add your headline here. You know what? Let's keep it relatively simple. So create some copies here, and I'm already going to give him that head start so you can get some variation and at least have a title on the placeholder. So let's say we have this rather similar approach. Let's go to design suggestions. You can see instantly it doesn't give anything. So it doesn't know what to do with these things. If I remove all of the content, now it's starting to get some inspiration because we have limited components, like 3 components, image, title, and text, that usually PowerPoint knows what to do with. But you see that there's totally no consistency with the brand. So here we have fade images, here we have like pink with curved lines, we have custom shapes, we have straight shapes with a little bit of pink overview, classical ones with lines. So you see how none of these get actual responses that are helping us further in our journey. Same if I add a new slide and I go, for example, with icons or images, and I do portrait, where I want to present a team member, for example, and I do some pictures from people, and I do, let's just take 1, 2, 3 and insert them. Let's take those 3 images and make them a little bit smaller so I can spread them out on the slide. So this is what we have. And these are the suggestions. I'll put them on my clipboard. These are the suggestions that we're getting. They're not bad, but again, they're not related or connected to any style. So it will be very hard to make a slide based on this. It can give you some inspiration, but it's not on brand. Let's compare that here if we go for a blank slide layout. So I'll just go for a blank slide, paste the same images here, and look at how designer reacts now. So here we can get instantly, we have that same shape, custom shape from the template that's being followed. We have room for a title, subtitle. We have the option to go for 4. We have the option to go for creative versions. When we have text above it, all of these things, they're connected to that underlying foundation, that structure, that slide master, and that is what we want to achieve. So these are usually the points that I check when I analyze and make templates or use templates. How easy is it to customize? And that was pretty okay for the online template. You could change the colors, you could change the fonts, that was okay. User friendliness, that's for me where it fell totally apart. You couldn't really use it. It's very hard to make custom slides or slides based on your content. And then the AI also, that it generates some random results that are not on brand. So on 1 out of 3, it was okay. 2 out of 3, I think it failed and isn't very user friendly. So hopefully this gave you some insights of how to use templates and how to sort of spot things if you buy something online, what you can change, what you want to pay attention to. And if you want to get access to my template, learn how to work with that one, I'll link it in the description below. I also have a bundle deal available that it gives you access to all of my templates that I've made and packs, so you can do your own thing, create some really cool stuff with it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.